Hello and welcome to episode 2 of our 1984 campaign of Cold Waters. In the last episode we managed to defeat an enemy invasion force that was trying to invade Reykjavik, Iceland. We just basically finished that, managed to get away, and in this episode we will be, at least our first objective, is to go after a wolf pack of enemy cruise submarines that's going to attempt to break out into the North Atlantic. So let's go ahead and hit continue on course. And we're gonna basically kind of patrol around here in the Norwegian Sea. The SOSUS network between Narvik and Spitzenberg is a very good place to stay because we get a lot of good information, and I think this is the unit we might be looking for. Sonar's picked it up, bearing 39, designated it Sierra 1. We'll close to 20,000 yards and all hands man battle stations. We'll go ahead and make turns for 0 knots.
0 knots, maneuvering eye. Make turns for 0 knots, maneuvering eye.
Looks like we picked the contact up off of our left. That is an enemy submersible. We will fire one torpedo bearing 090. Hopefully the wire doesn't break.
Shoot 2-1, aye sir.
It does not, but we'll go ahead, dogleg this torpedo to the south.
Sonar, Sierra 1 is cavitating.
It's apparently much closer than I thought.
Launch transient from Sierra 1.
We'll go ahead and turn the torpedo inward.
Sonar,
Set it to active
Sierra
search.
1 is classified as submerged submarine.
Make depth 900 feet.
Make depth 900 feet, dive by.
Hopefully we'll get under those torpedoes, but I doubt we will, unfortunately.
Sonar, new contact bearing 064, designated Sierra 2.
We do have another sub out there. We'll go ahead and launch. Actually, I'm going to wait in case we need to do torpedo evasion.
Fire control, weapon acquired.
Weapon 1 acquired, Victor 1 submarine.
Dive at 900 feet, dive by.
I dive at 900 feet. Looks like the torpedo missed to the left. It's going to do a go around. We'll maneuver it back to the right. Help it lock on.
054.
Weapons. Okay, so now that enemy weapons have passed, I'm going to launch another torpedo in the direction of Sierra 2. Weapons. Fire torpedo bearing 072.
Shoot 2-2. Aye, sir. Sonar, noisemaker bearing 054. Sonar, noisemaker bearing 060.
I think we finally got it. Yep, it's not getting out of this one.
Sonar, lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 060. Contact breaking up.
Roger that. Contact breaking up. Good hit on a Victor
Sonar,
1.
lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 056. Contact faded.
Roger. We're still going to send out Tube 2.
Ready.
And one thing we're going to very quickly do is go to active search.
Sonar, switching to active search.
That has revealed nothing. Go to passive
Sonar,
search.
switching to passive search.
Set course heading 061.
Helm left to 061. Helm aye.
Make turns for 5 knots.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering aye. Maneuvering. Making turns for 5 knots.
03 looks like it's probably a merchant vessel.
Helm. Steady course.
Oh, just saw a torpedo launch, I believe. Yep, we did.
Sonar, regained contact on Sierra 2, bearing 055. Sonar, Sierra 2 is classified as submerged submarine.
Roger that. Weapon is acquired track of enemy November submarine.
Sonar, noisemaker bearing 0, 5, 2.
Guide the torpedo in.
Con sonar lost
Impact.
contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 0, 5, 1. Contact breaking up.
Affirmative. Con, set course heading 004.
Come left to 0, 0, 4. Helm aye. Con sonar lost contact. Sierra
Make turns
4,
for 10
last bearing.
knots.
Make turns for 1, 0 knots. Maneuvering aye. Con, helm, steady course.
Looks like enemy torpedoes have exploded. Make turns for 0 knots.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuver. Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering aye.
Set sonar to active.
Con sonar switching to active search. Con sonar regained contact on Sierra 4, bearing 0, 3, 2.
Managed to locate enemy Victor 3.
Sierra 4.
Launch tube 1, bearing 030.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Go to passive search.
Con sonar switching to passive search. Con sonar launch transient from Sierra 4. Con sonar launch transient from Sierra 4.
He's gonna put out a
Con
spread.
sonar, Sierra 4 is cavitating.
Make depth 950 feet.
Make depth 950 feet. Dive by. Con, dive at 950 feet. Dive by.
Set weapon sensor to active.
Con sonar, Sierra 3 is classified as merchant.
Looks like we'll have all the enemy torpedoes go over us.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 0, 4, 6.
I think we got him now though. He turned directly into the torpedo. And impact.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 4, last bearing 0, 4, 3. Contact breaking up.
Enemy Victor 2 sent to the bottom. Alright, so now we have 2 torpedoes going past us, 1 going in the circle in front of us. We're just gonna have to wait until all 3 of those explode.
Cockpit room. Tube 1 ready.
The one in front of us did. The ones behind us just have. Excellent. We'll go ahead and leave combat. We sunk 1 November, 1 Victor 2, and 1 Victor 1. Excellent initiative. However, this was not your mission target, which is not great. I don't think that is going to be either. That's likely just an enemy patrol group. This may be our cruise missile submarines. So we'll intercept. Captain, we have a new sonar contact bearing 998. Designate Sierra 1. Affirmative. Close to 20,000 yards. All hands man battle stations. Make turns for 0 knots.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering aye. Con sonar new contact. Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering aye.
This is likely first enemy contact. Weapons, fire tube 1 bearing 149.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Con sonar, Sierra 1 is cavitating.
And it is running.
Con sonar.
Enemy
Sierra
Charlie
1
submarine?
is classified as submerged submarine.
If we open up our identification, look at the Charlie one, we can see that this does have missiles. I can't quite look at top of it. I don't know that. Oh, this is definitely our cruise missile submarine. You can see the launch doors or hatches up here on the front.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 1.
Weapons
0.
acquired.
Con
Weapon
sonar,
tracking.
noisemaker bearing 1, 1, 4.
Redirect it. Torpedo's making a sharp turn to the right.
Con
And
sonar,
impact.
lost contact. Sierra 1, last bearing 1, 1, 8. Contact breaking up.
Reload tube 1 with torpedo.
Torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
Sonar, go to active search.
Con sonar, switching to active search.
We're not picking up anything at all. Sonar, go to passive search.
Con sonar, switching to passive search.
With that, we'll call it. Leave combat. And that was indeed the only enemy vessel we had. But it was the objective we were looking for. Excellent job at intercepting and destroying this high priority target. Stand by for further orders. Convoys protected. This is another convoy newspaper, this time related to the European theater. You're more than welcome to read it, but we'll go ahead and skip on. And next mission orders. Intelligence has discerned a pattern of movements of enemy at-sea replenishment tankers and tenders. A small enemy force, including one or two of these ships, is expected to sail from Archangelisk shortly for a rendezvous somewhere in the Barents Sea. We're ordered to find and sink this group. We'll also get a chance at the enemy warships the group is intended to support, but tankers and tenders are the mission target. Before we do that, XO status report. We're down to 9 torpedoes, 2 missiles, 0 moss. We're going to go ahead and return to base first, especially because when we're going up into the Barents Sea, just kind of like the South China Sea, we're dealing with a lot shallower of an area, and I want some moss to pull torpedoes off, because if we don't, you generally have a very bad time. Denmark defeated following a destruction not seen since World War II. The onslaught of the invading Soviet army has proved too much. Denmark is now under communist control. In the UN, the U.S. ambassador in very sharp words reminded the Soviet Union of all civilized nations' responsibility to protect civilians. NATO and Warsaw Pact forces seem to evenly match. Both sides are making frantic efforts to gain the initiative. Control of the Atlantic is still an even contest between Soviet and NATO fleets. Well, hopefully we can tip that balance in our favor. But we come ahead ashore. We spent 3 days at war, completed 2 missions, sunk 3 warships, 4 subs, and 5 merchant vessels, for a total of 12 ships. We have sunk 16,500 tons of warships, 23,025 tons of submarines, and 43,640 tons of merchant shipping, equaling a total tonnage of 83,165. Patrol outcome: you and your XO proudly send the rest of the crew ashore for some days of rest after your outstanding mission performance. The Admiral's office then invites you for a personal debrief and a toast. Excellent, so we'll send the crew out for shore leave while work is done on the vessel. We'll go ahead and rearm, grab 2 moss, 6 missiles, and the rest of our space we will fill up with more torpedoes. 13 hours later, we will cast off anchors away. Once again, move towards the Barents to see if we can't locate this enemy group of replenishment tankers. Normally though, as far as I can recall, this tender group is going to sit all the way up here in the corner somewhere. Oh, we've been contacted by something. Sonar's got a contact bearing 275, designated TR1. Helm closed to 20,000 yards. All hands man battle stations.
Con sonar lost contact.
We'll go ahead, back emergency,
Make turns for 0 knots.
and stop.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering eye.
And there's... oh, enemy active sonar ping. Can we get it to show up again so we can see that line? Sounds like it was just one ping. There's definitely an enemy submarine out there. We're not picking it up though. Sonar switch to active search.
Con sonar switching to active search.
Go to
Con
passive
sonar,
search.
Switching to passive search.
Weapons, fire tube 1 bearing 267.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Make depth 950 feet.
Depth 950 feet, dive by.
Don't want it to wave, just want the torpedo to travel.
Con, sonar, new contact bearing 3.
Con, dive at 950 feet, dive by.
Weapon acquired, set weapon sensor to active. We found it. And impact.
Con, sonar, new contact bearing 266. Designated Sierra 2.
That was likely Sierra 2, it looks like. There is another enemy sub out there, though.
Con, torpedo room 2-1 ready.
You can see we have a second torpedo coming. We'll let it pass.
Con, sonar, Sierra 1 is classified as merchant.
Affirmative. We got another torpedo that looks like it's gonna come directly over us. It does. Sonar, go to active.
Con, sonar, switching to active search.
Helm, set course bearing 300.
Come right to 300. Helm I.
Make turns for 5 knots.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering I.
Just probably had another launch.
Con, helm, steady course.
Yep, almost from directly in front of us. Make turns for 0 knots.
Make turns for 0. Make turns
Weapons,
for
fire,
0 knots.
2-1, bearing 299.
Con, sonar, lost contact.
Of course,
Sierra
that's the weapon
1,
we
last
lose,
bearing,
even though we're
3,
not
2,
going
1,
anywhere, and that's the
contact
vessel
rated.
that, if it doesn't track the submarine,
Torpedo room 2-1
will
ready.
hit the trawler instead, which is not great. Looks like we definitely got its attention though, because it just launched a load of torpedoes.
Con, sonar, new contact bearing 302. Designated Sierra 3.
We just had a weapon impact. Sonar, go at
Sonar, switching to
passive search.
search.
And I think we just impacted the other submarine. You can see it sinking there in the distance.
Con, sonar, Sierra 3 is classified as submerged submarine.
It was a Tango. Make turns for 5 knots.
5 knots.
Again, I want to try and
Maneuvering
slip
I.
under these torpedoes. Hopefully they won't go active until we get past them. But looks like their sensors aren't good enough, so they're just going to go past. We'll let those weapons go off into the distance or detonate. Oh, they're far enough away, we will leave combat. 1 Romeo and 1 Tango submarine down. Excellent results, however, this is not our mission objective. We're gonna go ahead, head up here through Spitsbergen. Stay away from these reconnaissance flights. And try and find these tankers and trawlers somewhere up here. Again, as far as I remember, it's up here, but it may not be. We're gonna head down into the Barents a little bit. Just can't find anything. Oh, resupply vessels reportedly moving out of area. This opportunity has been lost. Await further orders. Soviets reload warships. In an incident deemed highly embarrassing for the US Navy, it has been revealed that Soviet warships could resupply at sea by tankers and other support craft near the Barents Sea. Furious politicians demand an explanation. If we cannot intercept lumbering tankers, what chance do we have to catch fast warships? Analysts say that Soviet naval operations in and around the Barents Sea have expanded, posing an ever-increasing threat to NATO shipping. Suggestions of pulling back naval assets from the region have been made. Withdrawal could help avoid the loss of NATO vessels caught off guard by the enemy's current superior numbers. So that's what happens when you can fail, but overall it's not too bad. Well, let's see. Intel reports that a surface battle group has sailed from Murmansk intending to break out into the North Atlantic through the Iceland-UK gap. Intel further believes that the group includes one or more Sverdlov gun cruisers that, once on station, will raid NATO supply convoys. As bad weather prevents airstrikes, you are ordered to intercept and destroy this task force. So the Sverdlovs are interesting because they're, like the briefing said, they're gun cruisers. They're not adapted, or they are. They have radars and other electronics, so I'll continue explaining in a moment. But West Germany surrenders. Soviet invading forces after a devastating campaign are in total control of West Germany. Government is dissolved and administration has been handed over to the occupying forces. In a national broadcast, West Germany's government ordered the country's armed forces to cease fire to avoid further casualties. In a rock, paper, scissors combat environment, perhaps we should be thankful for the current stone meets stone situation. Military expert Martha Tuckman theorizes on the current NATO Warsaw Pact draw. Dominance in the Atlantic still hangs in the balance if both sides have suffered losses during the past few days. But the Sverdlovs are gun cruisers. They're more World War II style cruisers. You can see we brought a couple friends behind us up around Spitzenberg. That's probably our enemy force we're looking for right there. We'll just set an intercept course, and we got him. Sonar's picked him up bearing 37. We'll go ahead, close to 20,000 yards. All hands man battle stations.
On sonar, lost contact.
Make turns for 0 knots.
Make turns for 0 knots. Maneuvering eye.
You can see we picked up
Make
one
turns
vessel already.
0 knots. Maneuvering eye.
Well, that's an enemy
Sonar,
surface
new contact
vessel.
Bearing 036. Designated Sierra 2.
Maneuver set course bearing 024.
Come left to 02.
Make turns for 5
LI.
knots.
Make turns for 5 knots. Maneuvering eye.
And you can see we have a Krivac there, which is a pretty, I don't say sizable, but it's got quite a few gun turrets and it's got some missile batteries on it. I'll go ahead and fire off once we ease the turn. Make turns for 0 knots.
Make turns for 0.
We'll
knots.
fire off
Maneuvering
tube
eye.
1, bearing 359.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Con sonar Sierra 2 is classified as capital. Con helm steady course.
And there's the Sverdlov, big old gun cruiser. It is a capital ship. We'll go ahead and shoot 2 torpedoes at it, even though that may not be
Fire
needed.
control, weapon acquired.
Weapons, shoot tube 2 bearing 358.
Con fire control. We've lost the wire.
Wonderful. Weapons, shoot tube 3 bearing 006.
Con fire control. We've lost the wire.
I don't even know what to say. That is horrible. We do weapons set, weapon sensor on tube 1 active.
Con sonar noisemaker bearing.
We're
3,
gonna
5,
guide
9.
the torpedo in.
Con sonar noisemaker bearing 3, 5. 3.
Impact Krivac sunk.
Con torpedo room. Tube 3 ready.
We'll see if either of the
Con,
torpedoes
torpedo room,
pick
tube
up
1
the
ready.
Sverdlov or Sierra 3, whatever that may be. It's probably another escort vessel. I can tell you that they look like they've picked up something.
Con sonar noisemaker bearing.
Looks like they
3,
both
5,
made a
3.
break for whatever Sierra 3 is. For the Sverdlov, I'll just shoot tube 1 bearing 019.
Shoot tube 1. Aye, sir.
Shoot tube 2 bearing 022.
Shoot tube 2. Aye, sir.
And we're just gonna have to guide these things all the way to
Sonar
target.
Sierra 3 is
Oh.
classified as escort.
cannon was hit by one of the torpedoes we launched and has been sunk. And these torpedoes need to not do so much wiggling and just need to go after the target. They need to run. So we'll run them both after the Sverdlov, but the major thing here is I don't know that they're going to have the range. If not, we'll have to fire missiles at the Sverdlov, which will be a fun time.
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
I really don't know if these are going to have the
Con,
range or
torpedo
not.
room, tube 4 ready.
But we'll go ahead and remaneuver the torpedoes to fit in the weapon acquisition cone. Sverdlov is making a run for its life. Got 2 torpedoes on the way. I think they'll be able to catch up with the remaining repellent or propellant they have. I think. It'll be very close. But I think they'll be able to do it. Especially once the thing starts turning, that's a whole different story. But for now... oh, this will be very close. Set them both to active.
Con, fire control, weapon acquired.
No, we're not doing the whole turning
Con,
thing now.
Fire control,
Nope.
weapon acquired. Con, sonar, lost contact. Sierra, 2, last bearing.
They both exploded
0,
early.
3, 1, contact faded.
Reload tubes 1 and 2 with torpedoes. Set depth to 200.
Make depth 200 feet. Dive by.
Con, torpedo room, tube 1 ready.
And what we're gonna have to do, because the thing
Con,
does have
torpedo
anti-missile
room,
guns,
tube 2 ready.
we'll shoot 2 missiles. Fire tube 3 bearing 027.
Shoot tube 3. Aye, sir.
Fire tube 4 bearing 027.
Tube 4. Aye, sir.
Reload tubes 3 and 4 with Tomahawk anti-ship missiles. And we'll go ahead and follow these missiles into their target. They've already acquired.
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
Getting closer, skimming the surface of the water.
Con, torpedo room, tube 4 ready.
Con, sonar, lost contact.
And
0,
contact
2,
hit.
last bearing, 0, 3, 4, contact breaking up.
Both missiles hit, vessel sunk. We'll go ahead and now leave combat. We sunk all the enemy vessels, used a little bit more resources than I would have liked, but got the mission done is the most important thing. Excellent job, Commander. Your neutralization of this high priority target will severely reduce the enemy's ability to hinder transatlantic convoys. Command Atlantic sends regards to you and your crew. New orders coming on this downlink soon. And with that, we have been awarded the Bronze Star to Commander Tobias Smith, Commanding Officer USS Buffalo. Commander Tobias Smith is cited for extraordinary heroism and action against the enemies of the United States of America on the 11th of December, 1984. His unwavering resolve and self-sacrificing devotion to duty in the face of death are worthy of the highest emulation. And that's where we'll go ahead and call it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please make sure you hit the like button down below. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos in the future. Also hit that notification bell if you want to be notified when new videos are released. Also leave a comment down below with what you liked or what you disliked. I'm always trying to make improvements and I love to interact with my community. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day and bye bye.